answers. There is one question in the chat, so I'll quickly read that and then the panel can answer that question. Right. So yeah. So if you on the bottom of your screen, there's a button called React. You click on it, and there's a raise hand. You can just raise your hand, and we will acknowledge it, and you can ask your question. All right. So the question in the chat says, Danny suggested we opt for compound interest on T-bills. Can he, which is not specific Danny, but can the panel enlighten us on rollovers and its benefits for T-bill holders as against compound interest? So any member of the panel can take that question for us.
All right, Enoch, I think let me come in here. The greatest discovery of mathematics ever is compound interest. And let's take our 10,000 concept that we started with. At the rate of 10% for the year, and you are doing it for 5 years. If you invest 10,000 a year for 5 years at 10%, in year one, the interest will be 1,000 in year one. It means that in that year one, you've had 1,000. So at the end of the period, you have 1,100. That is your money.
11,000.
You have 11,000. Thank you very much. You have 11,000. Now that 11,000 in the second year, if you invest only the 10,000, in the second year, if you invest only the 10,000, it means that you are still going to get 1,000. But in the second year, if you add the 1,000 to the 10,000, which is 11,000, you invest it in the second year, it means that the 10% will give you 1,100. So the 100 cedis is the interest on the first 1,000 that you have earned instead of 1,000. So you now have 1,100 at the end of the second year as interest. When you add it to your 11,000, you have 12,100. You have 12,100. So at the end of the second year, you now have 12,100. If you invest that in the third year, you are going to get 1,210 as interest. 1,210 as interest. If you add it to the 12,100, you are getting 13,000 and so. And then you invest the 13,000 plus in the fourth year, that will give you interest, you add it, and in that particular order. In that way, your money is earning you so much amount of money. And that is what my panelists, colleagues talk about when they talk about the mutual fund. The mutual fund is interest and on interest. And in real business, there is no simple interest again. Because the 5 panelists here, if I give you a loan, and the loan is 10,000, and you are supposed to give me 10%. If you give me the 1,000 cedis, I will not keep the 1,000 cedis with myself. I'll go and give that 1,000 cedis as a loan to another person. That person will give me 100 cedis. That 100 cedis, I'll give it to another person at an interest. That person will give me 10 cedis. I'll give that one to another person, and that will 1 cedi, 10 cedis, and all those things. So you realize that the interest that you have on the interest is giving you so much amount of money. So when you are sleeping, your money is working for you. The rest can take over.
Thank you. I have also several questions here, if the host will permit.
Yeah, let me say something before you continue.
All right.
So yeah, the question, the rollovers is basically what the compound interest is. So when you invest in T-bills and they say the rollover, um, that is what is compound interest. So the interest you made for the period, you roll it over, add it to your old principal, and then now it also grows. So the rollover is the same as the compound interest, just different names that is given to it based on because it's T-bills. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Can I ask my
your question
question?
can go on.
All right, thank you very
Yes.
much. So, my first question is that what is it about land that makes it value appreciate so much, or that makes it um that makes it appreciate so much in value over a shorter period of time? What factors go into the land appreciation? Or let's say a specific example. If I should buy a land in Koforidua, it's gonna be quite less expensive compared to maybe I buy a land in Trasaco. They are both lands, right? Or I buy a land in Accra. They are both lands. But what makes a land in Accra appreciate in value higher than that of the land in Koforidua?
Can I take
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, Richie, you can go on.
Go and watch it. My apologies, I have company. So I think the main cause of appreciation of a landed property is demand and supply, but in various forms. So here we have it. Um, uh, the demand for land for building is increasing, and development is also increasing. So here we are, after completing school, everyone wants to build at some point, or people will get to work when they start making money, they want to build, and they would want to buy land. Mind you, land affects your commuting to work, commuting to amenities, and basically both your social activities and life. So everyone would wish they get closer to infrastructure, they get closer to the urban zone where there is interest, and then other features that people may have interest in. So by way of appreciation, if I buy a land in Koforidua, urbanization would extend to, and Koforidua is already urbanized, I would say. But assuming you are buying a land in where Tutu area, which is the Krupon area. Currently, maybe the place may not be as developed as you would expect it. But if there is road construction that is done, if the power connection is done for such places, you know that definitely the value of the property is going to increase. There are certain things that people also look out for. So, for instance, people love to buy properties in the Ebri area because of the serenity it comes with. Others too may want to buy properties at the beach area because it's closer to the beach and all of that. All of those things affect the pricing of the land and the appreciation that it gets over time. My apologies for the noise, sorry. But let me drop it here then.
How about inflation and risk? Are they also contributing factor to the land values?
For
Better
you
for
as the
explain
Yeah.
that.
investor, inflation would push the price up, but you are not getting the value for it. So for you, it is not really an added value.
Okay.
The price will go up, but you don't get a value for it. But amenities closer to infrastructure, and for instance, and a classical example before someone else comes in, lands in Buankra in the Ashanti region near Ejoso, some point was costing around 13,000, 15,000. President Kufuor announced that they want to do the Buankra inland ports, where they will move containers from Accra to that place. It still didn't pick up until about 3 years ago when President Akufo-Addo started some work on the Buankra. Emmanuel, your microphone is on. Emmanuel. So when that work started, land in Buankra is suddenly costing about 130,000, 150,000 because people assume that it's going to be like the Tema of Kumasi because of the inland ports. So such amenities will drive the price of the place up. And if perhaps you bought 4 plots of land at that time, you are a millionaire by now because of the appreciation of the value and the infrastructure that is coming there.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that in Accra or in Ghana to Rick's is also part. If you get a land which doesn't come with issue, it already has its documentation papered down, it means that the price would also go up because most of our lands here come with a little bit of struggle. So if somebody is giving you something that is already done, then it means that the price will go up. But it's mainly driven by demand and supply. Everybody wants to come to Accra. And if you come to Accra, and in Ghana too, right, indirectly, we have made something a measure of success. You can't say you are successful and you live in an apartment. Like nobody really recognize it. Everybody wants to build their own house, but I think that maybe to us as young people coming up, we have to also start begin to understand that it is okay to rent in cantonment, and if it's closer to work, you can rent there, and you will still be doing fine. Maybe we don't necessarily have to build. Yeah, because currently also the lease on our lands are very few 50 years, 45 years. If you think you are building your dream house, your kids might not even take over. So we should start normalizing renting too. And if we also do that, maybe to drive the price. But now everybody wants to build. Your first go-to person, and we are advised to even buy lands before you buy a car. And so demand is definitely the reason.
Thank you. Any other question?
I do have one more, but maybe if there are other people who want to ask any question, they probably can do that before I ask one. And since we don't have any yet about the forex trading and then or currency trading, right? I I might have missed some explanation. My understanding with that is, let's say in Ghana we know that usually it's either the city is depreciating and the foreign currencies like euros and then dollars are appreciating, whichever concept it is. I am not a business guy to put it right. And so the assumption is that or my understanding about currency trading is that if I have a certain amount of CDs now, I can purchase dollars, right? And when the CD depreciates, and or let's say when the price of the selling price of a dollar goes to a certain level or higher, I can sell it to those who need dollars, and then um, I'm getting some kind of um, returns on such. Is that what you mean by the currency trading, or is it something that requires um, active involvement of a person? So you just have to monitor the trends of global currencies and then decide what to do, in that regards. I don't know if my
Yeah, I think what you're saying is the basic, like it's a very basic and how we understand it as people who are not traders. But then when people who are the traders are doing it, it's just like having an account with the Ghana stock market where you can buy a lot of things on a lot of bonds or stocks on those particular market. It's the same thing when it comes to the forex. So these individuals hold various accounts in various forex markets in different countries. So today it could happen that he's hedging between Japanese yen and USD, betting that, not betting, but putting an amount to say that, okay, for today, the yen will drop against the USD. So I'm buying it from Japan and I'm come to buying the dollar from Japan, going to sell it on my other account in maybe US. So it's it's a little complex. And so, and because it's for Forex, right? And it, for Forex, even today, the price can drop more than 3 times on the market. And so the guy would have to be monitoring their account. Like they are literally sitting there monitoring their monies. And they can start with, let's say, $10,000. And it could so happen that they would lose a lot because their value that they invested in is dropping. And so you will lose a lot. So what you talk about is the basic form of what we know or what most Ghanaians do. But if you really want to be a proper forex trader, it goes beyond that. You cannot just simply invest in just Ghana City. No, you have to have a global account where you fund those particular accounts and buy currencies from different markets and sell them across different markets.
All right. And my last question, Dr. Kawo gave a certain example of a friend who has a poultry farm and all that. That's a real investment, right? Um, if I want to invest in that person's business without having to play any active role in terms of management and stuff, can that also be considered as a passive investment?
Yes. I think that
Yes.
currently
Okay, Bismarck.
okay. Currently, there is a firm, I've forgotten their name. They do something similar to a mutual fund, but it's a farm. What they do is that you invest a certain amount of money with it and you go and farm with your money, and then they give you the return. If you have somebody who you can trust and you can give the person the money for them to invest the money and then give you return, that is also a passive form of investment. But maybe you just have to go into terms with the person. What are you investing? Are you lending the person money and they will pay you interest, or are you acquiring shares in those particular kind of business? And these are the things that you have to discuss and know what specifically you are investing into. But I think that for the entrepreneurs on the call, like growth comes with people helping you, and we have to understand that growth comes with people helping you, and that's one of the reasons why most Ghanaian entities are not able to grow. Even when they list on the Ghana market, on the stock exchange market, you would go in and you realize that the original owner still holds a lot of the shares in them because we are free to let go. But sometimes the people that you are bringing in are the ones who are going to help you. So for me, to the entrepreneurs on the call, we have to understand that sometimes we just have to open it up for other people to come in and invest in it. Some of them might not even come with a lot of funds, but they come in with their own expertise to help you to drive the business forward and to a point where you yourself would be happy with it. And so maybe we should start looking at things from a different perspective. Yes, you want to be your own boss, you want to be your own owner, but where you have gotten to, sometimes you require a lot of people or a lot of funds to come in. Just open up, let people come. Borrowings, stocks, find ways to keep them as they have stakes in their business, as they have interest in their business. They are willing to contribute their quota. They might even be on your board, just providing guidance, just providing direction. And let us also not be afraid to consult. Most Ghanaian business again don't like to pay consultants. We think that we know everything. And so those are some of the few things that I would want to end with. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to add up with the passive investments and basically all investment. I think people should be very clear on the terms that they are signing on to. So, like Bismarck said, you could agree if it is a farm, are you getting variable interest? Are you getting fixed interest? I mean, fixed return from it, or variable interest depending on the performance of the bank. Those that are behind it, make sure that they are credible enough. So you can't put your money in a farm where the person who is even collecting your money knows nothing about agriculture or farming. You should be interested in their expertise, and I know that there are friends like that came up with such ideas, but some of them did not yield as expected. So you should understand the terms that comes with, and with what Bismarck said, and I had this discussion with former finance minister who passed on, Honorable John Kuma, that it is better to hold 10% of a 10 million worth company than 100% of a 10,000 worth company. So it is good if you can open up, if you think you have a credible idea that people would buy into, open up, have a percentage share of it, but make sure it works fine rather than holding the full of it and there is even no funds to operationalize the ideas that you have. So one, you should be open to resources that are coming in, of course, with the interest and all the terms that come with, make sure that it is okay with you. But do not be afraid to get support from elsewhere when it comes to putting money into what you are doing. Another angle that perhaps I may sound as a caution is the pyramid schemes. Pyramid schemes. We want to invest, we want to make money. And there are people who come to you, we are selling, there are a number of them. I wouldn't want to cause a brand damage to any one of them. But here they'll come to you that, I have this investment. If you put in 100,000, you just have to bring 5 more people to also put in another 50,000 so that you start earning interest of 40% every year and something like that. Those things do not always work, mainly because they take money from you to pay other people the interest. And of course, the additional people that you are bringing on board, investment will be used to pay your interest. And there is nothing substantial that is moving that thing. So pyramid schemes are available. We've had instances of them going down. In Ghana, all the old folks understand pyramid. The young people understand Men's Gold, Herbalife, and a few others. But still, people invest in some of these things. So we should be careful. MDK. There is one that calls God Back Up and all of that. I see a lot of such adverts on the internet that are quite lucrative. So we just have to be careful. I can see a hand up there anyway. Thank you very much.
All right. To add up to that,
Okay.
entrepreneurs should also take their time to consult. There was this business I was consulting for just on a pro bono basis. They manufacture local soap. Then the man sent me a memorandum of understanding. And the first thing he sent was non-disclosure agreement, that whatever he's going to agree with these supposed investors, none of them will disclose to any other party. They are bringing expertise. They are going to make sure that they train the people in whatever they are doing. They will market the products for them and all. That the financial burden will be taken by the respective companies. And this agreement must be signed before they go into any other thing. Then they added the memorandum of understanding, which did not specify anything that those people are bringing on board. So when the owner gave these documents to me, I called him to my office. We had a discussion, and I asked him who brought the people, where are they coming from, how much are they investing in the business, what is their expertise in soap manufacturing, what have they done so far. They talk about financial engineering. Which form of financial engineering are they talking about? The man looked at me and said he doesn't know anything about it. I said, look, you must be careful. Otherwise, these people are coming in and they are coming to steal your technology. We are not against people coming. We need money to come, but we need genuine people to come. So we wrote a letter to them asking for a face-to-face meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 months, they have not shown up. So it's good that you invest with other businesses, but make sure you investigate the people very well before you put your money into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, we should be careful and then please seek advice.
There is a hand up, so let's tackle Sammy.
What you said. Can you hear me?
There is a hand up. Can we take that question and then you can come in, Daniel?
Sure.
Sammy, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay. I have some few questions. The first one would be I think Bismarck mentioned about the companies not being, young businesses not being willing to open up to other investors to put in their money, because a lot of the time people want to hold on to all the shares or the full ownership of the company. My question is, at what point is it okay to actually open up your company to other people? Being that there are different reasons why, or different motivations for setting up companies, and so there are situations where you'd end up with partners that might not share your drive, or might not share the motive with which you set up the company. For some people, it's not primarily the money aspect, right? So then it gets to a point where there's a challenge where you think that the vision with which you set up the company is moving from what you actually wanted to achieve, because possibly your partners share different ideas and you do not have control to drive it as you want to. That's my first question. The second question is that, considering how the bond situation in the country has been, the truth is, if you were, yes, there are people who do not really care much because maybe they had diversified their investments, and so it didn't affect them that much. And there are people who they are able to withstand certain shocks. But then if you go through a situation where you have a major hit, it becomes a bit difficult for you to again invest freely, because now you're looking at a lot of you're overthinking everything. And so at some point I considered, for instance, is it possible to invest outside our economy, as in the country? So in buying bonds or investment packages outside of Ghana whilst being in Ghana, is that possibility? And what are the risks involved in such situations?
Okay, let me this one. Are you done, Sammy? Or you still have
the last one? But
okay.
you could answer, and I will ask the last one so that we don't get it mixed up.
Yeah, Sam, you can answer your questions and then they can take it all.
Okay. The last one is with the real investment, be it a business or land. We've already mentioned the risk that it comes with, let's say, buying a land in Ghana. I would say in Accra particularly, or even with businesses. In a lot of cases, you don't even know what will happen, because the same way your friend, the lecturer's friend who came back from China, came to focus on his agriculture and it worked. I have friends that quit their job to focus on their business, and within a short time, all their money has gone into the business with no returns. So when you're doing financial investments, usually there is a broker, someone to help guide you. But with real investment, how do you go about it, knowing very well that there are so many factors that could change the course of your plans? Because my friend, let's say, wanted to start a poultry farm. It gets to a point, then there's scarcity of feed in the country. Does it mean that he now has to invest in feed to bring it in, because it's not in the country? Poultry is going to die. These are things sometimes you cannot foresee, but could happen. So as an investor or as an entrepreneur, how do you mitigate these risks if you want to go into real investment?
Yeah, so I mean, just on the last one, quickly, we would hold a session next week, I think around the same time, maybe, but we will discuss the time. So the circular will go around and we will tackle this topic. It's more tilted towards active investment and some advice you will need from this aspect. So I think that they will tackle the first two questions, and this one will be touched on in our subsequent sessions. So please, you can stay tuned for that one. Thank you.
Okay, so Let me take the first question, where as a business, you want to open up to external people. You know, in as much as you want to open up, you need to be very careful as well. You need to look at it from two ways, whether you want it as a loan or equity. So when you take the money as a loan, the individual coming in or the investor has no control over your business. At the end of the day, what you do is to pay the interest on the loan. And some of the benefits to the business is that, in finance, they will tell you loan is better than equity. Why is loan better than equity? Because at the end of the day, the interest is tax allowable. You're going to pass the interest on the loan in your expenses and to reduce the taxes that you're going to pay at the end of the day. You need to also look at the equity side. At the end of the day, as you are involving too much people or too many people, you're going to lose control of the business in the hands of others. So you need to decide what you want. Is it technical expertise that you need, or is it money that you need? That will make you choose either to go for loan or equity. And also to the investor, whoever is going to invest in another person's business, need to understand the loan bit of it and also understand the equity. Because as an equity or shareholder, you're only entitled to dividends. If the company is doing well, you get some returns on it. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, if they are not doing well, you don't get anything. That's why we say equity, what they get is a residual income. After we've paid everyone, after we've paid the interest on the loan. So as an investor, if you want to invest in someone's business, you need to months. If you are someone who needs something genuinely, I think maybe a loan will be okay for you, because at the end of the day, the business, whether they are doing well or they are not doing well, you don't care so much about it. All that you're interested in is your return as an interest that you are getting. And based on the terms of the loan, at the end of the day, you get your money back. Thank you.
Okay. Let me try to talk about the second point, the bond situation in Ghana. So yeah, traditionally, government bonds, especially the short-term government bonds, are considered as risk-free, but we have realized that it is not really risk-free. There's still some risks associated with it. So you should, if you are buying a bond, you should still consider the risks involved that the government might not pay your money, and then you might lose your money out of it. So it's good to diversify. Part of diversification is not just investing in different assets, but also in different economies or locations of investments. But I know most of we Africans and Ghanaians, we think that once something is in Europe or is better than the one in Ghana, bonds have been collapsing government bonds have been collapsing in Europe. We have Italy, Greece, all these countries have gone through what we are going through now. So yeah, it's good to diversify in terms of location and economies, but you should also be careful about which country you are investing your money into.
All right.
Thank you.
I realize I have a lot of questions, but maybe
I think diversification, sorry, before, it is good to consider diversifying into.
Richie, you are
Richie.
muted.
Sorry. So I was saying that it's good to get diversify into various markets and entities. It helps, but you need information. So, and basically, I think the financial market is information driven. So, if you want to invest in, an economy different from yours or an entity different from the ones that we know locally, you should be sure you're having the right information. So, sometimes you may need brokers who appreciate the international market to give you direction as to where to go. But if you are well versed enough and you think that you can get that information too, it is good. It also tries, most of such entities would thrive on how their economies are operating, which sometimes is kind of out of control where you sit. So it's very much also, it can also go down as Ghanaian ones are going down, and as Enoch also mentioned. So if you have the right information and you think that it's lucrative enough, same as people are investing in MTN. I have a cousin who is into Apple products, and he thinks that after spending a lot of money in buying Apple products, he might as well invest in Apple. And he has investment in Apple so that at least once he spends money buying their items, he knows that you get some dividends out of it. So it is an open space that you can invest in. There is no cutoff, but you deal with the regulation that you may not be aware of. If it is Ghana, you know some regulations are around some of these things. Of course, they may have regulation, but you should have those information. Otherwise, you get a consultant that can guide you appropriately into investing in such markets. Thank you very much.
Talking about consultancy, I think most of if you read the profiles of our speakers, most of them are consultant. Doc already said, and then Richie is also a management consultant. I think Bismarck is not into public consultancy, but maybe if you contact him subsequently, you will. And then you spoke about brokers. I mean, I think I would want to, but I think our time is already up, and maybe we can look at some of the questions in subsequent sessions. So yeah, over to the host.
All right. Yeah. Thank you all very much for joining us for the discussion. And as you can see, finance is something that affects everyone. Everyone, we need money. We need to know how to manage our money. And so we will be having subsequent discussions on topics like this. And so just be on the lookout for when we post the flyers for those discussions. And also, we have a YouTube page that we discuss other topics. Previously, we discussed some health topics about diabetes. So you can also check that out on our YouTube page, which is on the flyer as well. And thank you all to our panelists. And we hopefully next time when we call on you, we'll be able to get you as well. All right. So bye, everyone.